This is a Sports Catastrophe production. Hey there, how there, ho there. It's Jeff Cutter and welcome you to another Sports Catastrophe birthday boy. And the birthday boy for today, December the 6th, is an icon in college football who basically is the cautionary tale. You're a great college football player, but once you get to the pros, sometimes off the field antics can get in your way and you can blow a good career. Well, this man plays in the Fan Control Football League. That, fans get to control what team they do it. So, fan control football is players that are normally redrafted every new week of the season, with the exception of one player per team who uses a franchise tag. But anyway, he played in the NFL for 2 years with Cleveland, even went up north to Canada for a little bit, and then went to the Alliance of American Football in 2019 before that was folded. He was a good quarterback, but unfortunately, there was a lot of trouble. So anyway, he is Johnny Football, Johnny Manziel. He is now 30 years old. 30 years old, what a waste. Anyway, he was born in Tyler, Texas, home to the great Earl Campbell. So anyway, he played football at Tivy High School for 4 years, and it looked pretty good. He was highly recruited out of high school. Although he grew up a Texas Longhorns fan, U of T did not recruit him. They wanted him a defensive back, some say. Rumors were that Johnny Manziel was going to head to Oregon to play, which would be big. I mean, Oregon's got some decent quarterbacks and all that. Unfortunately, he would then change it to Texas A&M because their quarterbacks coach influenced him. So anyway, he was in the game alongside Marcus Mariota. It would have been crazy if Manziel and Mariota were both on the same team with Oregon. So anyway, Johnny Manziel was redshirted at Texas A&M, which meant that he could kind of take part in practices, but he can't be on the active roster. So he didn't get to play the 2011 season. And in 2012, they needed some help. A&M had uncertainty because Ryan Tannehill left for the NFL after 2011. And Manziel beat a couple of other people to get the #1 spot. So anyway, his first game as a college quarterback was against Florida on home turf at Kyle Field. Manziel put up 557 yards of total offense by himself, which actually broke Archie Manning's record, SEC record. But he would do that against Tech. All that. Manziel helped A&M as a redshirt freshman beat #1 Alabama in Tuscaloosa, of all places, 29-24. Manziel was just amazing and all that. So he did very well for himself. He became only the 5th player in NCAA history to pass for 3,000 yards and rush for 1,000 yards in a season. He, in fact, won the Davey O'Brien Award for Best Quarterback and the Heisman Trophy, making him the first freshman ever to win the award. So he was the first freshman to win the Heisman in 2012. He was just a freshman. A&M was given the #6 ranking. And they thought that Manziel could be okay and all that. Unfortunately, though, Manziel's eligibility was under question because he had signed autographs for money in January 2013. But Manziel didn't receive any money for the autographs, so he was suspended for the first half of his first game. He threw 5 touchdown passes against Bama, but lost 49-42. He ended up being 5th in Heisman voting in 2013. He threw more touchdowns, but he threw more interceptions in his second year. Johnny Manziel was actually drafted as a shortstop by the Padres in the 28th round of the 2014 MLB draft, but obviously he was going to play football. So he decided to try to join up for the 2014 NFL draft. As a redshirt guy, you can actually pick up a year. So despite the fact that Manziel was going through as a junior, he was still, it was considered a junior because he'd been on the AM squad for 3 years, even though that he was redshirted for 1 year. So his draft stock looked pretty good at all that. And he was hoping to be picked high in the 2014 draft as a quarterback. Jacksonville had the first chance to. Jacksonville chose a quarterback with the 3rd pick, but it was Blake Bortles, not Johnny Manziel. Bortles did okay for Jacksonville and all that. Manziel ended up being the second quarterback taken, only the second quarterback. Philadelphia and Cleveland made a trade. The Browns traded their 26th pick for the 22nd pick to get Johnny Manziel. Among teams that could have taken Johnny Football but didn't, and probably ruined the day, was the Rams with Greg Robinson, an offensive tackle from Auburn, being no good. The Jets taking Calvin Pryor from Louisville as a safety. That didn't work out. Miami picking Juwan James from Tennessee as an offensive tackle. But here's the thing, though. Many of the players in 2014 ahead of him, like Javier Clowney, Khalil Mack, Jake Matthews, Mike Evans, Anthony Barr, and Taylor Lewin, made the Pro Bowl. And all that. So Manziel, Cleveland passed him over once, and then Manziel made a text saying Cleveland should take me and all that. And they took him with the 22nd pick. Manziel was actually fined $12,000 for flipping the bird in a preseason loss to the Redskins. Brian Hoyer was named the starter for Cleveland. And Manziel didn't really start and all that. But in Week 15, with Cleveland basically out of the playoffs, he made a start against the Bengals, but lost 30-0, throwing 2 interceptions. In his second career start, he was 3 for 8 against Carolina, but was replaced with a hamstring injury, and the Browns lost. Manziel in his rookie season went 18 for 35, 167 yards, and 2 interceptions. No touchdowns passing. And people thought that his work ethic and commitment were questioned. Not the first time, and not the last. Manziel made some improvements on all of that. And by November 2015, he was named the starting quarterback for the rest of the season. Unfortunately, a week later, he was demoted to 3rd string behind Josh McCown and Austin Davis because there was videos of him surfacing, partying in Texas and all that. McCown would get a season-ending collarbone injury, but still Manziel was behind Austin Davis. But after the Bengals beat Austin Davis 37-3, Manziel was made starter. And he threw a touchdown, beating the San Francisco 49ers, giving the Browns their first win in 8 games. Unfortunately, Manziel allegedly sat out the last game with a concussion, but he was in Las Vegas with the team. Was Vegas instead of him being in Cleveland. Well, Manziel did miss a scheduled check-in on the morning of the last game of the season. So, by 2016, it was rumored that Johnny Football was going to be cut by Cleveland because of everything. He had a lot of issues and all that. Well, Cleveland did the right thing by releasing him because of his behavior. So, it was rumored that March 9, 2017, that the CFL was looking to take him. And Hamilton looked to take Johnny Manziel. They put him on a negotiation list. All of that. Hamilton gave him a tryout in late August 2017, and he didn't sign with the team. Manziel's representative requested a contract offer from the Ticats. And according to CFL rules, the Ticats then had 10 days to give him a contract, trade his rights, or relinquish his rights. Manziel would have a meeting with the CFL commissioner in September and failed the conditions. So that meant he was not allowed to play in 2017 in the CFL. But in 2018 he could if he met the conditions. And by late December 2017, he was allowed to play in the league. Hamilton had until January 7th to offer him a contract or trade his rights. But they gave him a contract. And Manziel's agent said Hamilton better be serious about it and all that. And and his agent said he should be paid in the same realm as Zach Collaros, in the range of $500,000, as they said. But the Ticats would break off negotiations with Manziel. Man, agents, what can you do? So then Manziel decided to play in the Spring League, a developmental league, and all that. And Manziel said he wanted to go back to the NFL and play. However, that changed as the Ticats actually signed Manziel to a 2-year deal in May of 2018. But he never played for Hamilton. He spent 6 weeks on the backup spot to Jeremiah Masoli. The Ticats decided, screw you, we're trading you to Montreal for Chris Williams and 2 first-round picks. Montreal gave up 2 first-round picks in the CFL draft for Johnny Football. And as an Alouettes fan, I'm thinking to myself, I hope that this works. And all that. Well, Hamilton said that they wanted to trade Manziel to give him a better chance of receiving playing time. And Manziel would start the August 3rd game for the Alouettes against the Ticats, his former team. Well, it didn't go so well. By halftime, he threw 4 interceptions. I mean, the CFL game is different. There's 110 yards end zone to end zone, and there's 20-yard end zones instead of 10 in the NFL. So, of course, Hamilton crushed Montreal 50-11. He did show some improvements. Didn't throw an interception against the Red Blacks, aka Ottawa, but lost. Manziel did have to be put in CFL's concussion protocol for a little bit. And Antonio Pipkin had to be the quarterback in Manziel's place. Manziel took over the reins of starting quarterback for Montreal in Week 15, losing the Bombers. So he played 8 games in the CFL, going 106 for 165 for 1,290 yards, 5 touchdowns, 7 interceptions. He struggled, and he had to be accustomed to CFL rules. And it looked like Johnny Manziel was going to be close to the starting role. He had to fight Pipkin and Vernon Adams for the starting role in 2019. But unfortunately, the Alouettes released him on orders from the CFL because he had contravened the terms of his CFL contract. And thus, he was not allowed to sign with any CFL team and all that. So anyway, Manziel said that he was required to see a doctor, attend weekly sessions with a therapist, and submit to lithium tests. But he missed a number of mandatory meetings, so the league decided to cut ties. So Manziel went to the Alliance of American Football. And he was sent to Memphis through the waiver system. Memphis needed a quarterback because Zach Mettenberger and Christian Hackenberg both were struggling. So Manziel played and all that. And, well, he didn't do so well. He got concussed. 3 days after he got concussed, he was not happy as the American Alliance Football League, whatever you want to call it, ended operations. So then Manziel went to the Fan Control Football League, the Indoor American Football League, and all that. So, anyway, Johnny Manziel is still part of FCF to this day. So, as a Cleveland Browns quarterback, he started 8 games out of 15 total, played 675 yards, 7 touchdowns, 7 interceptions. And that's it. The accumulation of 15 games. Vic. The spring league, he played spring league. He played 8 games for the Montreal Alouettes, 5 touchdowns, 7 interceptions, as I said. Played in the Alliance Football, in the Fan Controlled Football League, doing decently. But, I mean, for Johnny Manziel's off-the-field crap, which I really don't want to go too much into because I think you guys can figure it out. that, he was partying too much. He wasn't taking his time with Cleveland seriously, and Cleveland having the issues with their quarterbacks. Johnny Manziel still was the first freshman to win the Heisman Trophy in 2012 and win the National Quarterback Award. So he still has the NCAA record for most rushing yards by a quarterback in a season, 1,410. First freshman to get 3,000 passing yards and 1,000 rushing yards in a season. Well, the fifth player ever. Most rushing yards by a quarterback in a bowl game, 229. I think that was at the Chick-fil-A Bowl. Excuse me. Yeah. So anyway, yeah. He has some SEC and Texas A&M records. He still has the Cleveland Browns franchise record for most rushing yards by a quarterback in a single game, 108, even though he only played like 16 games. So much controversy in his world and all that. Manziel was diagnosed with being bipolar in 2018. Manziel got married, but their divorce was finalized in 2021. So, yeah, Johnny Football just couldn't get his head around the game of football. Off the field incidents can ruin you more than on the field incidents, believe me. Anyway, I'm Jeff Diamond. I do.